You were just looking at a picture of Chris Lambert. Chris is a songwriter, podcaster, imaginary goat peddler, and a prolific and pure artist. Our conversation on Sunday was the first I'd had with him in at least a couple years. My name is Randall Sena, and this show is called Favorite. Let's do a question about how we met. Do you remember how we met?
Oh, yeah.
How did we meet? I remember it.
Do you?
But you go first.
From my recollection, you posted a MySpace ad or MySpace bulletin for your new studio, which I think was not even operational at the time. I think you were
I think it was just the idea.
still working out the kinks of it or something, and you had some kind of competition for share this bulletin and win a chance to get a free recording session, and I was the winner.
Somehow that memory seems more clear to me than many other memories in my life.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why does that stick so hard? Maybe because we spent the whole day together and we didn't know each other or something like that. But I remember we worked on a song and had Mike come down and play drums.
Yeah.
I remember what it was called or what it was.
It was called A Year or 12. It was a song I had written in my bedroom and had a crappy demo of it. Played you the idea, and then we spent the entire day working on it. And it was when you had just opened, and so you were just a one-room.
Yeah, I think I have a picture of it. So I was thinking about trying to find the picture. I'm too lazy to find the pictures from that time, so instead, I'll show you this picture I took of Chris on the hill behind my house. I don't know why, but I asked him if you could put any word or words in the sky above you in this picture, what would you want it to say? He thought about it for a second, and then he said, "Shh." I like that. I know you a little bit more as a songwriter,
Right.
And as a extremely self-determined creative force. And when I thought about talking to people that I knew, I thought about talking to you because you're one of my favorite people, but I don't spend a lot of time with you.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even say we're good friends necessarily, but that doesn't really make a difference to me. Almost it's easier for me to be really fond of someone if I'm not close to them.
Yeah.
So I always really admired your work ethic, even if I didn't totally understand you. And it's funny because I think that I am weird or crazy maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I always thought that you were weird and crazy. Which one do you think is true, or are they both true?
Yeah, we're definitely both weird and crazy people, I think, for sure. I would say in different ways. We have a different tendency to express those weirdnesses.
Yeah, I think you're interested in the resolve or the resolution, and I want to see what happens when things come completely what would be the word?
Unraveled?
Unraveled.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I think I noticed a tendency in you to sort of influence a thing and then wait and see how it unfolds. Yeah, I remember you telling me, I kind of like, good or bad, I have a tendency to have a mind that doesn't forget little details. And I remember very specific lines that people say to me that stand out for whatever reason. And I remember you telling me once that kind of the curse of your life is that you can always see what someone is doing wrong and you always know what they should be doing, but you can't always convince them that you're right. But if they would listen to you, you're always right.
Yeah. And it would work 100% of the time, but that's totally the opposite of the meaning of life. It took me so long to figure out what to do with that energy. Mm-hmm. And I literally still don't know fully what to do with that energy. Mm-hmm. But I know that I probably shouldn't examine it anymore. One of the things I found to do with my hypercritical energy was to start a music studio where people not only ask for my input, but are actually willing to pay for it. And that environment and seeing music through the eyes of kids enabled me to harness that negative energy for good. I learned that what we think of as our weaknesses can become our greatest strengths. Have you ever felt like you were crazy? Like really felt scared for your mental health?
I don't think so. I've questioned at times, like I know that I have a lot of oddities or a lot of things that I do in my life that I can't relate to other people, or that seems like I'm the odd one out. So I have questioned at times whether I'm maybe on the autism spectrum.
Yeah, me too.
So I've taken a lot of tests, and I'm like, as far from, like every time I take it, it's like it's not even a chance.
Yeah, yeah.
And but I have always known there's something weird about me, and so I go back into that every so often. Like I know there's something different. It's clearly not that, but what is it?
Yeah, it's sort of like I think for both of us, it's that we um, can't lose ourselves in an experience. It's almost like we are watching our own lives.
Mm-hmm.
Does that resonate, or no? Or is that I'm just talking about myself?
Yeah. I think I've learned ways to sort of allow those things to happen. I think I have a more of a tendency to I find a thing that works for me and I just sort of drive it into the ground, and then when I step back and look around I realize, oh wait, nobody else is doing it this way. Like, like making albums the way that I do. It's like one album and then it's out, and then it's okay, what's the next album? What's the next album? And then I take a step back and go, nobody else is doing this. So am I the weird one?
Seemed like a good place to actually listen to Chris's music instead of just talking about it. So this is his song. It's called Be Here Now, a title first made famous, of course, by Ram Dass, the great Western spiritual guru. Here comes my cat. He wants to listen to Chris too. Listen, kitty. Come on up. Come on, we're going to listen to Chris, you fuckhead.
Looming over everything. I've gotta get to work. I don't have time to sing. Just be here now. Be here now. Toothache hit me like a ringing bell, but I got no insurance. I need a root canal. Just be here now. Be here now. The same old town in a small apartment with no pets allowed. Just be here now. Be here now. I make my living in a little shop. Have I started a machine that I can never stop? Just be here now. Be here now.
Let's talk about something I've also admired in you is your relationship with your girlfriend. Tell me, what is the secret to a long-lasting relationship? And the people are listening.
The secret for me has been to find somebody that you want to be around before you even consider the possibility that you might date them. I had two semi-long-term relationships, both like 2 or 3 years each, and both of them were like, hey, I'm sort of into this girl, she's into me, will you be my girlfriend? And then we spend 2 years together and realize we really have nothing in common, and we don't really want to be around each other all that much, but we're just forcing it and trying to make it work. And then with Allie, she was like my best friend in the world. She was like a dude that I would hang out with all the time, and it was a couple years of that, and then it started to cross into like, like every time we hang out now, I sort of go home feeling sick and like I need to tell her how I feel. But then we were so far into our friendship that it was one of those situations where I could potentially damage this if I have feelings for her, she doesn't share them back. So that to me is the reason for our longevity, is that we really like each other as people. And if we never would have dated, I think we'd still be hanging out probably all the time. And I
like
think
there's somebody right in the creek. But
yeah, I hear that.
for someone like myself who doesn't exactly feel at home in this world, music has been about more than entertainment or nostalgia. Music has been a source of education and vicarious experience. In fact, some of the greatest feelings of love that I've known come from not personal experience, but from songs. So I asked Chris to listen to a song that we've both probably heard hundreds of times. A song that somehow describes both love and the fact that words fail to really articulate what life is about. Do you have a phone on you?
Yeah.
Would you listen to a song with me?
Sure.
Can you pull up the song Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder by the Beach Boys? And I'd like to just listen to it with you. Let's see if it's loud enough.
I can hear so much in your sighs, and I can see so much in your eyes. There are words we both could say, but don't talk, put your head on my shoulder. Close your eyes and be still. Don't talk, take my hand and let me hear your heartbeat. Being here with you feels so right. We could live forever tonight. Let's not think about tomorrow. And don't talk, put your head on my shoulder. Come close, close your eyes and be still. Don't talk, take my hand and listen to my heartbeat. Listen, listen, listen. Don't talk, put your head on my shoulder. Don't talk, close your eyes and be still. Don't talk, put your head on my shoulder. Don't talk, close your eyes and be still. Don't talk, put your head on my shoulder.
How about that thing? Okay, enough with the mushy stuff. I get it. What I love most about Chris is that he's comfortable with the extremes. The guy can go from working on the Kristen Smart case with the utmost respect and care, and then the next minute, he's invented a goat named Torbo and fucking around with would-be scammers on Instagram. This guy contains multitudes. Somebody told me to ask you about something about an online scam or something about
Yeah.
something. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I saw your post this morning. You said Chris Lambert is best known for your own backyard. And I thought, no, I'm best known for this other thing, I think, at this point.
Okay, what's the other thing?
Yeah, so I years and years ago, I started engaging those people. And if I suspected they might be a scammer, I would just sort of take it in a weird direction. And I'd give them as little information as possible to go off of. But then I just started building whole worlds. And so I off the cuff, I'll start responding to people. I mean, you do the same when telemarketer calls you or something, right?
Right.
And I've seen you post videos. Let's just see how absurd I can make this. But because of the language barrier, there's a line that you can go to where they don't catch on to the fact that you're messing with them. So I try to push it as close to that line as I can. And sometimes they'll keep going for days and days at a time. And so I did this one a couple months ago that for whatever reason went totally viral, where I convinced this person that I lived at home with my mom and I had no money, but if she wanted me to get money, I could sell my mom's favorite goat and I could bring the goat to the market and they're going to slaughter it and they're going to give me money for it. And then I went to Chuck E. Cheese and I'm like, I'm spending the money, but I have to get you something with tickets. And I'm like, you have to tell me what you want me to get you with tickets. And it just kept going on for days and days because every time they would start to suspect I was messing with them, I would just dangle like, oh, I just picked up the card for you. And they're like, scratch it for me and send me the photo. And then I got in a car accident and I sent them a picture of the card, but there was blood spattered on it so they couldn't read the number. And they're like, please clean the card off and send it. And so I just kept it going and going. And the goat's name was Torbo. I had named the goat Torbo in the story. And people started asking for like Torbo t-shirts. People were
Wow.
like,
So
I want
this
a
is
Torbo
this
bumper
is what's
sticker.
so strange. It's like another parallel in our lives that we're like, we see like, oh, we need to, this is what I need to do today.
Yeah.
Like I have
Yeah.
a to-do list and I'm like, that's going to all have to wait.
Yeah. And it's another, the funniest thing in the world to me is the stuff that I come up with when I'm alone. It's just like I'm put on the
And
spot.
the fact that even in that, you worked harder than I do. I am like, fucking camera right here, let's just roll.
Yeah.
And you're like, let's get a little narrative going. It's just incredible. You're incredible.
One of the best compliments I've ever gotten in my life, this guy replied to the whole Torbo scandal thing. And he said, I've never met somebody who was more dedicated to everything that they do in their life.
That's it.
everything that you do.
Yes.
And I thought that's funny because the Torbo thing is so goofy and the Kristen Smart documentary was so heavy.
You contain
And the
multitudes,
music.
buddy.
It's, but I thought, yeah, I really, really get a lot out of, it's another creative cycle. It's how long can I keep this going for and what can I make my brain come up with?
Now, let me ask you this. This is what I really wanted to ask you about creativity and our differences. In your early music life, like so many of us, you didn't have a huge response to what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it didn't deter you. It really deterred me.
Mm-hmm.
And I might have had more people listening to my music than I thought I did, but it still was never enough for me to make me want to actually do the work. How do you do the work, Chris?
Have you heard of Mike Birbiglia? You know who that is? Stand-up comedian. He's got this movie called Sleepwalk with Me. I highly recommend for people who like creative stuff. Really weird, quirky movie, but he has a quote in there where he talks about going up on stage for the first time as a stand-up and bombing so bad. Like you think you have 20 minutes of material and you start talking and it's a minute and 30 seconds and then people are staring at you, people are booing, nobody's laughing, somebody's puking in the corner, like the whole place smells like pizza. You just have the worst thing. And you have to, if you are going to be a successful comedian, you have to have enough delusion that you get off stage from that and you go, I want to do that again.
Right.
And repeat it.
Right.
Because if you never repeat it, you have no chance whatsoever.
It's absolutely true. What Chris just said is really important to me, and another one of the reasons that I wanted to talk to him in the first place. He has this diligence and drive that I've always lacked. I'm hoping that I can improve in that department and finally treat my own work with the respect that I've been told it deserves. They say those who can do, and those who can't teach. But yet, I still feel very compelled to create, and I still have music. And I think I have some of my best music in terms of closer to bridging the gaps of the worlds, you know, this world and the place we're trying to connect with. So this seems like a good point to listen to some of my music. And this song is from an album that Chris and I recorded together. He was the recording engineer and also contributed some of the music. The album is called A Form of Prayer, and the song is called Kern River. I'm on my own in the promised land. No place like home, but I miss your hands. I feel you now. You
be your man. You bring me joy, but I keep it hid. A little boy, that careless kid, he's still around, but he's old and he's big, but he loves you now, and he always did.
Well, that was the first show, folks. I nearly deleted it, but thanks to Chris's advice, I have faith that it won't be the last one. I realize that many of the things that interest me are strange, but I also realize that many of you are strange. I want to thank Chris for inspiring me, and I want to thank Chris for helping me to make the only album I've made up to this point. And I want to thank Chris for being willing to come over and talk with me and stay for dinner, even though I wasn't always as supportive of him as he was of me. May Chris's abundant kindness, weirdness, and his dedication to his vision remind us all that some miracles are made by human hands. I'll be back next Sunday, and I hope you'll join me. Amen.
If you believe and if you try, you can do anything. You can do miracles, things that seem impossible. You can do miracles, miracles. You can do them. Have faith. You're human, only human, and human beings, they do miracles, miracles. You can do them. Have faith, have faith. You can do them.